Welcome, 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 everyone, to the Not Move podcast. This is a special day brought to you by Fantasy Dailies, and we got a special guest. We got Q Myers in the building. How you doing, Q?
Man, I'm blessed, man. How y'all doing? Thanks for having me on the show.
Pleasure to have you here. So, my first question to you is: I'm a little long in the tooth. I'm older, but for the young guys out there that want to do what you're doing, how does Q Myers become Q Myers?
I mean, you just got to hustle, man. You got to hustle. You got to grind. You got to work harder than the next man is willing to, right? And I've always told everyone that I might not be the most talented dude in the room, but I'm not going to be outworked. Like, there's nothing that you can do to outwork me. I promise that. I'll get up before you get up, and I'll go to bed after you. You know what I mean? Like, that's always been my mentality. I know that it's not for everyone. I know that everyone doesn't have that grind, but if there's an edge that I can get, it's just effort. So, I mean, all I've ever done is made myself available. I've been around. Anytime I see an opportunity, I try to jump on it. And there's a lot of things that I'm willing to do that others won't. And so that just kind of helps you get in the right frame of mind. It gets you in the right place, around the right people, and always put your best effort when you're doing whatever you do. If I'm doing a radio show, it's going to be the best show I've ever done. If it's a podcast, it better be the best one I've ever done. Like, I'm always want to make sure that I'm always on point whenever I do whatever I do, because I don't know who's listening. I don't know who's watching. I don't know who could change my life, good or bad, right? And so you
Yes.
just have to make sure that you always put your best work out there, because somebody, and you don't know where it's coming from, but somebody, like I said, could change your life, and you have no idea about it. And so if as long as you put together a really clean resume like that, good things will happen.
I agree with you 100%. I always say life is about timing, and even if you're not doing nothing, get up early and be part of society. Nothing but good things can come. Just,
Yeah, facts.
just be out there.
Yep.
Now, what was I going to say is I know you started off with hip hop.
Yep.
Um, Quick question. I mean, what is your first true love, football or hip hop? And how did hip hop transition into football?
Well, I've always loved sports. I mean, I've just been an athlete. My family always was big in sports. So when I was young, we were always had some game on, whether it was football, basketball, baseball, whatever it was. There was always some sporting event that was on. And then music is just culture, right? Music is just what brought everyone
Yes.
together. And the thing about it is, it's so funny. I never knew what I wanted to do in life. I never did. I just kind of whatever. I wanted to be an athlete because everyone wants to go pro, and that doesn't happen to a lot of people. And there was a point where my dad said, "All right, I think you need to probably just get a job. Like, you're going to realize that being a pro athlete is not going to happen for you." I had a couple of ACL surgeries, and I didn't do very good in school, so I couldn't maintain eligibility to stay on teams. And my dad was just like, "Hey, man, you got to do something." So I didn't know what that was, but the one thing I had in my mind is that I always wanted to do something that I felt like everyone else can't do. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to make sure that I could do something that maybe you can't do, or you can't do,
Yes.
or you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to be that guy where, oh man, everyone's got that job. Everyone works down at the grocery. Like, I had a job for 7 years at the grocery store, but I said,
Yes.
like, you could train a chimpanzee to work at the grocery store, right? Just tell him to what buttons to press, and he's good to go. Like, it doesn't require a great skill set. So I was always searching for, what can I do to change the game. And I honestly, I just kind of fell into radio. It wasn't like that was something I didn't sit by my, there's always those stories like, oh man, I used to sit by my radio and listen and imagine being that guy. Like, I never wanted to be the guy on the radio. I didn't care about the radio. I just wanted to do something that other people couldn't do. And I always had a personality, and I always made people laugh. And that's why I got in trouble in school, because I always was talking. And so I had friends that were like, hey man, that's a natural, just transition for you. Why don't you
Yep.
go and do some radio? And I honestly was like, I don't know, whatever. And I met some guys that were working on the street team for Wild 94.9 up in the Bay in San Francisco. And they said, yeah, man, you should come in. You got a cool personality. I rapped for them for a little while, just kind of talked and chopped it up, and kind of figured out what they were doing. They're like, man, you'd be pretty good at this job, but it doesn't pay any money. It's an internship. And I was, yeah, all right, well, I got a job. I work at the grocery store, so I can make my money. Maybe I get a job there. And I just kind of fell in love with it. And music was always natural for me anyway. I always loved music. And so, okay, now you're talking about music. You're talking about meeting people on the streets. You're shaking hands. You're doing this, that, and the other. And it just went down a rabbit hole where all of a sudden I just really was intrigued by the radio business and the behind the scenes of it, and learning about it. And oh wait, I can talk, and I can put my personality over a 20-second intro of a song, and I can make that song sound different because I'm involved in it now. So it was a challenge that I really just embraced, and thought that I'd be pretty good at it, and it worked out pretty well. I started in '99, and it's 2026, so I would say that it's a pretty good run so far.
Wow, that's actually that's a great story, man. I'm happy how you weren't even searching for it; it just came
No.
out to you.
That's
That
what happens though. That what I mean? Like
yeah,
that's how life happens. Like the Locked On Raiders podcast. I didn't go looking for that job. I didn't apply for that job. The guy that ran it, David Locke, he sent me a DM one day on Twitter and was like, "Hey man, I like what you do. I was doing a podcast with a buddy. We weren't getting paid for it or anything. We were just having fun. We were just talking about football and talking about the Raiders." And he's like, I like what you do, man. You think that you want to do that on the daily?" I was like, I don't know, whatever. And he just said, well, why don't you try it out? And I tried it out, and my 8-year anniversary just passed. So that was 8 years ago.
oh,
What I mean? So it's like,
congratulations.
yeah. So it's like, you never know when the opportunity is going to pop up. And, like I said, you never know who could change your life. And it's just, everything just continues to roll, man. But you have to put the effort in to try to go out and seek it and find it. And when you do get it, just embrace it.
So now I'm assuming you're a lifelong Raider fan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from the Bay, so it was natural. I was a Raider fan to begin with, and we used to always have those conversations with all my buddies. I have a lot of friends that are 49er fans, and we would always it was always beef, but it was good. It was fun beef, but it was always yeah, y'all over there, I'm over here, we're kicking it. And so we'd be in the barbershop, and it's funny, I just came from the barbershop a little while ago, and that's kind of where it all started too, because I'm in the shop and I'm talking, and we're arguing sports, and and it's just kind of it's something that every young man should do. And I think that's part of the culture. It's part of raising young men, is going to the barbershop and being around other young men and older men, and learning wisdom, and arguing sports, and doing all that good stuff. Like that's what it's all about. And so I started really there, arguing Raiders and 49ers, and I just really got good at remembering stuff, and being able to recall what I just saw, and making good points. And like I said, it just kind of was a snowball from there.
So how did it hit you when the Raiders went to Vegas?
At first I wasn't a big fan. I was actually living in Texas at the time, and I kept telling everyone, "Oh man, they're not going to move. They're not going to move. They're Oakland through and through. There's no way that they're going to move." And someone finally told me, "Q, the worst kept secret here in Las Vegas is that they're moving to Las Vegas." And I was like,
Yeah,
"All right." So it's like a reality finally hit me, and I get it, man. They needed a new stadium. The way that the
yeah,
A's were doing business wasn't cool, and it just kind of really put Mark Davis and the Raiders in a bad position. And so they decided that their best bet would be Vegas. And then when the NFL did their little rulings and voting, and they could have ended up back in LA, they could have been roommates with the Rams, and instead the Chargers got that
yeah.
opportunity. So then the Raiders came to Vegas, which is great. They have their own home. They don't have to share it with anybody. It's their own market now. I mean, it's up to them to go win games, but I mean, the Raiders are an iconic brand, and so it's really cool. It's been fun being here since 2021. I moved here, and it's just been great, and just the opportunities that are there, and more sports are coming here to Las Vegas. So really excited to see not only just for the Raiders' growth here in town, but also just sports in general. It used to be, as they said, Sin City, but now there's so much going on here in Vegas. It's fantastic, man. There's people that come from all walks of earth now.
How are the fans out in Vegas? As passionate or?
Yeah, they're getting there. They're getting there, but they
Yeah.
haven't seen. They don't have the history yet. They don't have the history. They
Yes.
haven't seen the
Right.
wins yet. They don't know. All they've seen is a 3-win team last year, a 4-win team the year before that. 7 wins before that. Like they haven't seen success. They don't know what it looks like yet. So when the Raiders start winning, when they get back to being who they're supposed to be, when commitment to excellence and just win, baby, means something, they'll understand what it's all about. But here in Vegas, the one thing I can tell you is there's so many things to do. If you're not winning, they will do something else. they will.
Yeah,
They will
yeah,
have their tickets and
yeah.
say, "You know what?
That is true. That
Yeah,
is
let me
true.
sell these tickets and let me go over here. Let me go check out the
Yes.
Golden Knights, because like the Golden Knights are winners, right? And they're
Yeah.
Vegas' own. So the city loves the Golden Knights. But the Raiders, they'll get the fans, they'll get all the passion, but you got to go out there and win games. Yeah.
So now following the Raiders, what type of do you think Tom Brady had any influence or is having any influence on the new Raider culture?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. He's definitely a part of it. The GM John Spytek is really he's got his thumbprint all over this team. But yeah, Tom Brady definitely has some influence. He also provides credibility for the organization because there's nothing that Tom Brady does that he doesn't go full throttle. And my perfect example of that is when he first started broadcasting. He was okay. He wasn't
Mhm.
great, but then you saw the
Right.
improvement year 1 to year 2. And you're like, whoa, okay, this dude's been working at it. He doesn't
Yep.
want to do anything that he doesn't succeed and he's not great at. So he's not going to want to put his name on an organization and then they stink. So he's going to do everything he can. Now they have a quarterback in Fernando Mendoza, and he looks up to Tom Brady. That was his guy growing up. So now he's got that natural mentorship ability with Fernando, or he's that natural resource. If Fernando needs something, he can pick up the phone and call Tom Brady. Like, think about that. If you can call someone who's the greatest of all time in whatever field you do, I mean, think about that. Like, if I can pick up the phone right now and call the best radio broadcaster ever,
If you
what
could
kind of
speak to Howard Stern on the daily or
I
something,
mean,
yeah,
yes, yeah. If I had
yeah,
that kind of access, like how much better could I be at my
yeah,
job, right? And so
yeah,
it's a great resource for Fernando to have. And now it's just like I said, the Raiders have to put it all together.
yeah. So, what do you think about the first preseason game?
It was okay. I mean, I don't put too much into the preseason just because it's that, and you know that there's not a whole lot that they're showing. It's really vanilla. You know, they have their backups in, and I mean, even the game on Thursday, I was I was at that one in Houston, and it started out terrible, and Raiders stunk in the first half. It was like 20-3, and then they come back and they shut out the Texans in the second half, 19-0, win the game.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's like it's a preseason game. It is what it is.
yeah.
It's good to see football back. They got one more preseason game coming up, and then boom, they've got the regular season on September 13th, starting with the Dolphins coming to town. So that's when it gets real. But I have enjoyed the process. I'm out at training camp every day. Be back out there tomorrow. And so seeing how this is put together, seeing how these guys put their work in behind the scenes, talking to the coaches, talking to the players, that's where it's really beneficial. That's what it's really all about. So that to me is what excites me. So when I see something in the regular season, I can say, okay, I saw that guy start to grow in training camp, or I saw that guy struggling in training camp and now he's still struggling. So it doesn't surprise me. So that's what I really appreciate, is really more of the behind the scenes and watching them in practice on the daily.
Now, being a Raider fan and someone who watches the Raiders and talks about them, would you rather see them sit Mendoza for the season or start him at some point? Like if they don't do good with Cousins or what?
Yeah, I think that I'm sure he'll start at some point. I don't think there's any rush to put him out there. I know that a lot of Raider fans are thinking, throw him out there right now. Why? He's the first round pick. He's the number one overall. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to do that when you don't have any options, and everyone
Yeah,
rattles off all these names. I'm like, yeah, but who was the other guy that there was the other option? Like, well, exactly. You have a
no.
guy who's been there, done that in Kirk Cousins in this Clint Kubiak led offense. I mean,
Yes.
he worked the best with him in Minnesota. So now you have him as an option. And oh, by the way, it's not like you're not the Las Vegas Mendozas. You're not the Fernando Raiders, right? I mean, you're a team that's trying to figure out how to win. You've won 7 games in 2 seasons. So not only are you responsible for building this young man, this quarterback, to be your franchise guy, you're also responsible for the other 52 guys in the locker room. The other guys that
Yeah.
want to win. Max Crosby has done nothing but lose in his career with the Raiders. He wants to win. Everyone that they brought in free agency wants to win. The draft picks that they got that weren't named Fernando Mendoza, they want to win. And this organization has not won. So they've got to figure this out. So I don't think that you want to just throw your rookie quarterback out there and say, all right, go figure it out, and tell the rest of the guys in the locker room, hey, don't worry about this year. It doesn't really matter about wins and losses. It's just about building this guy up. Because if I'm in that locker room, I'm like, wait, hold on, man. I want to win. Right? I came from
Yeah.
a program either in college or in the pros that has won. I want to win. I don't want to be here and sit here and say, well, I'm supporting that guy just to get him where he needs to be, and we're going to lose, or we're going to chalk up this season. I don't want to do that. So that's where the Raiders, they need to figure out how to win games and how to build that culture. And oh, by the way, Clint Kubiak is a brand new head coach. He's never been a coach before. He needs to figure out how to win too. And so there's a lot that's going on besides just building up number 15.
So, my next question for you is, if you could speak to the owner or anyone in a decision-making authority, what question would you ask him for the fans that you would want a truthful answer for?
Really just what the realistic expectations are for this team. Like, when do you really truly believe that this team is going to be ready to compete? Because remember, you're in the AFC West. So you're
Yeah.
not in the NFC South. You're not going up against the.
I'm a Bronco fan myself. I'm sorry.
Hey, I mean, hey, it happens, right? And the Broncos are really good, right? But it took them. There was what, like 3-4 years in a row where the Raiders were just whooping the Broncos, right? The
Yep.
Broncos couldn't beat
It's
them.
been going back and forth for years.
Yeah, then they went and got Sean Payton and like, all right, let's turn this thing around. And you see where they got after they got their quarterback, they put their defense together. They were able to go out there and do what Sean Payton wants to do, and then they win the AFC West. Obviously, you still have the Chiefs. You have Patrick Mahomes and company. They're not going anywhere. The Chargers, we'll see, right?
Yeah.
We'll see what they do. But
Yeah.
I mean, look, they would have. My thing with the Chargers are like they win games. I know their head coach is really good. I know their new OC, Mike McDaniel, is a really good offensive coordinator, and Justin Herbert's a quarterback that you would create in the lab, right? If you're gonna create a quarterback, that's what you want him to look like.
Yes.
But my question is, what has he won in the postseason?
It's nothing.
Nothing.
That's
won
the
a
sad
postseason
one. Nothing.
game. He's never won a postseason game, and nobody criticizes him. Right?
Yeah.
You get people criticize Jalen Hurts. He's won a Super Bowl. People criticize
it's
Lamar
crazy.
Jackson. Yeah, he's won multiple MVPs.
Yep.
People criticize Josh Allen. He's a MVP. People, you know what I mean? Like all this criticism.
I mean, look at what they do to Lamar.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
Exactly. And Justin Herbert just gets a pass. Like, oh well, it wasn't his fault. His head coach wasn't very good. Okay, that's fine. That's your excuse. All right, the head coach wasn't good, and Brandon Staley. I'll give you that. Okay. Now they got the guys injured. Okay, injuries happen. Oh, now they don't have weapons. Okay, now you have Jim Harbaugh. All right, well, so it's like, how many different excuses can you come up with why my man has not won a playoff game and he's part of the $50 million a year club? That's all I want to know. Like when is the criticism that goes to every single quarterback in the National Football League? When is it going to hit him, or is it not going to hit him because he's a Charger and they're not the biggest show in LA? They're not even the biggest show in their own building. You know what I mean? So that's my question with them. But
I think it's only going to hit him really when Lamar or Josh or Burrow win one. I mean, then you might get taken off of them at that point.
Maybe, but I just don't, like I said, you can talk, and I do sports all day long, and we talk and criticize every quarterback, and it's fair. But then there's like, oh, what about Justin Herbert? Oh, yeah, man, he's great. He's elite.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. Because at the end of the day, everybody's got him in between 6 and 10 on their top 10. Yeah. But they never have nothing bad to say about him.
Nothing. And he has no playoff success. None.
Yeah, you're 100% right on that.
27-0 lead and lost.
Yeah.
Yep. When you bring that up, they start trying to point out that it's everybody's fault, injuries and whatnot.
How do you feel this offensive line will mesh together?
Well, it's got to be better than it was last year.
Well, just let me tell you, because last year everybody was saying Bears. They got all these new linemen. Yep. I myself played offensive lineman when I played ball. I'm like, sometimes it takes a year for an offensive line to, trust each other, get their steps together. And the Bears happened to do it instantly. And that, that was great coaching, I think. And, the pieces they put in. So, like, do you think the Raiders could duplicate that?
I mean, I think that they'll give it a try. They have a really good offensive line coach now, Rick Dennison, who's been there, done that, and he's been with every Kubiak, from Gary Kubiak to everyone. He's got 4 Super Bowl rings, and he didn't get that because he
got the best center in the league too.
Exactly, the best center in the league, and Tyler Linderbaum. They paid for him, they overpaid for him, but that's okay. They had the money, so who cares? It's not my money. So go, get him. They got him. They have Colton Miller, who's been steady, but he's been injury plagued. So is he going to be able to stay healthy? They brought in Spencer Burford from the 49ers, who knows the blocking scheme. Is he going to be able to help? Right? They've got a couple other guys, but it's a work in progress. It really is. And so far, it's just looked okay. It hasn't looked great, and it's a zone blocking scheme, and that's never worked very well for the Raiders. Now, you're a Bronco fan. The zone blocking scheme, when it works, it's fantastic. Right? When you execute it correctly, you make, guys that are undrafted free agents 1,000-yard backs. You do it's a really good scheme.
Yeah.
But the Raiders they've never ran it well. The Shanahans, they run it well, right? They do it in San Francisco. They do it in Denver. They did it in Houston with the Texans when Gary Kubiak was there. It's a true, proven, great blocking scheme, but you got to go out there and you got to execute it. You got to get the guys that go and execute it. And so that's what the Raiders are looking for right now.
Yeah. So now my biggest question with the Raiders is their receiver room. Is there anyone hidden that I should be looking for?
No.
Or wait, or anyone that you suggest drafting late in fantasy or something?
No, I mean, I wouldn't. I think that it's a very unproven room. I mean, the guy that's the number one target is going to be Brock Bowers, right? And he's the tight end. But
of course.
Wide receivers, I just asked Clint Kubiak about the wide receivers yesterday. We were on a Zoom call, after the trip to Houston. And I said, well, what did the last 2 days, the joint practice on Tuesday and the game on Thursday, what did that teach you about your wide receiver room? And he said, well, I learned that we took a step back. I learned that we're still looking for a guy to step up and contribute on Sundays and be accountable. And so he's like, we got to get better. We got to get better fast. So if that's the head coach saying that, I'm sure not going to come on here and tell you, hey, go get Darren Naylor, go get Trey Tucker, and I like Jack Besh. Jack Besh is my guy. Like, I think he's a good possession receiver. But again, I mean, coach is saying he's looking for somebody to step up. So if the coach ain't calling him out, I'm sure not going to call him out. I'm just saying.
I mean, that's why I was surprised that they didn't pick up even like a Keenan Allen to maybe show the younger guys and help them along.
Well, they made a mistake last year under Pete Carroll, and they didn't play Jack Besh. They didn't play Dante Thornton. Besh had like 20 catches, and Thornton had 10. So they don't know what they have in those guys. So this year, to me, and this is just my thoughts, is that they're going to see what they have. They're going to go out there and obviously Brock Bowers is going to be the number one guy. Ashton Genty is going to do a lot of the workload as well from the running back position, catching the ball and running the ball. And then they're going to see what they have in the wide receivers. And if they get to the end of the season and Clint Kubiak still feels like, well, we're looking for a guy to step up on Sundays and be accountable, then that's going to be your number one priority in the offseason. So you'll go and maybe target Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State or whatever wide receiver happens to be the next best thing when we go through this college football season. Or maybe there's a free agent wide receiver that they say we're going to go sign because he can be a game changer, or maybe you do both, right? But I think that they're going to really test what they have. Like they always say, you can't, don't go to the grocery store if you don't know what you need, right?
Yeah.
If you don't look in the cupboard first before you go to the grocery store, how are you going to know what to shop for? So I think they're going to make sure that they know what they need, and then they're going to go do their shopping in the offseason next year.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping Genty balls out this year. I loved him in college. I'm a big Genty fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's your take on him?
He's a stud. He's an absolute stud. He's told me how excited he is about this, this new year and this new offense and this blocking scheme. And, he's a guy that I'm pretty fired up about because I think he's going to do a lot of heavy lifting. And the funny thing about it is most people don't know. Everyone looks and says, oh, man, the Raiders won 3 games. Ashton Genty wasn't offensive rookie of the year, so he had a bad year. He still had 1,300-plus yards from scrimmage. He still had 10 total touchdowns. So
amazing.
Yeah, so if he walked across the stage in Green Bay when he was drafted and the commissioner said, hey, Ashton, by the way, you're going to get 1,300-plus yards this year and 10 total touchdowns, I think everyone would be like, yep, sign me up for that. That's what's up. But the way that he got it, the way that it, that it looks so.
I mean, what was he getting hit? Like 1 yard after contact? Right?
He was getting hit before he got the damn ball.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just I could have tackled him. I mean, I couldn't have tackled him, but I mean, it's like the offensive line was just, they gave him no help. So this dude, he had no time with the ball in his hand before contact. But then if you go and look and you go and do like the analytical dive and you see how many yards he had after contact, it's incredible. Like this dude was putting in so much work and still almost ended up with 1,000 yards rushing last year. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah,
if the offensive line is like middle of the pack this year, he's going to be great, right? The Raiders were dead last in rushing last year. They had 77 yards on the ground per game. That's all they averaged. The next closest team was the Cardinals, and they had 93. So that's a huge difference between 77 and 93. Like that's not even close. Like you're getting almost 100 yards per game on accident. You know what I mean? Like you didn't have to be good to almost get 100 yards per game. True. The Raiders couldn't even crack 80. That's how bad their offensive line was in their running game.
Now, what's your expectations for the Raiders this year? What would make you happy?
I think as long as they're out there, they're competing. I think that they should at least double what they did last year, which is not. I mean, it's not a great endorsement, but I mean, you go from winning 3 games to winning 6 games in the first year of a new coaching staff. I think you feel like, okay, you're headed in the right direction. They need to have a build like the Lions did, right? When the Lions under Dan Campbell, he's like, yeah, they're not very good, but you can see they're getting better. And man, this team is going to be really good. You give them another year, they're going to be really good. That's what I want to be saying at the end of this year. Like when week 18 gets wrapped up, I want to say, man, that was a fun year. Yeah, they lost some games, but man, remember that game against the 49ers? Remember that game against the Rams? Remember that game against the Seahawks? They were right there, right? This team just needs they're one wide receiver away from being really good, or they're one more offensive lineman away from being really good, or they're one more edge rusher away from being really good. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm hoping happens this year, where you can see their growth and you can see, all right, they have something there. They just need to go and get that extra piece. They need to go and get that, that extra accessory to go with this team.
Now I know also Max Crosby, he loves Vegas. I know he definitely didn't want to leave Vegas. Them trying to trade him, you think he comes out with a chip on his shoulder and gives that much more towards the season?
Oh yeah, I mean he's already self-motivated. He finds a way to have a chip on his shoulder every day anyway. Now it's going to be times 1,000, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
I figured that.
He's gonna come out and say, all right, now you traded for me, you gave up 2 first-round picks for me, and then you decided you didn't want me, right? Yep. He's gonna do that old Mike Jones, right? Back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all on me, right? I mean, that's what he's gonna be talking about, because he's gonna come out and try to destroy everything in his way. And I'm excited just to see what it looks like. Now, the thing is, that's not going to stop other teams from calling and say, hey, is that guy available? And look, the Raiders have shown that they're willing to trade him, so he could end up getting traded anyway. But I guarantee he's going to ball out. I mean, there's the one thing that I know about Max Crosby. He is motivated. He wants to be the best. He has no problem telling you that he wants to be the best, and he's going to do everything he can to let you know that he is the best. So, yeah, this year I believe as long as he stays healthy, and for the most part, he usually is. I know his season got cut short last year, but for the most part, man, that dude, I think he's going to ball out this year. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, the only thing, he had a swollen, but there was something with the acupuncture or something last year, I believe, right?
Yeah, he had an issue with his knee, and so they shut him down for the last two games. But look, he's had that. He's had issues with his with his knee over the past few years. So I mean, there's definitely concern, but he's also a guy that doesn't come off the field. So I believe this year you'll see him not be out there 100% of the snaps like he always is. I mean, he always is playing 100% of the defensive snaps. So I think they'll be smart with them, because they know that, hey, man, this guy is an absolute terror when he's on the field. Let's keep him fresh so he can be that guy start to finish.
Yeah. No, I'm really looking forward to seeing the Raiders this year and seeing what they're all about. Like I said, we joke about it all the time. Kirk Cousins is the crash test dummy for the offensive line.
Yeah.
Sure. We joke about it all the time. JB, you got anything?
Yeah. Man, what's your thoughts on Kobe Dean joining the Raiders?
We're not getting
expectations of him.
All right.
I got him. You got?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't hear him. So, go ahead, let him ask you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got him. He was asking about Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker, man. Those are big pickups right there. The Georgia boys, right? So now the Raiders are like the Georgia West, I guess. I mean, because they've got Quay Walker, they've got Nakobe Dean, they've got Eric Stokes, they got Brock Bowers. Those are all Georgia boys. So they're like that team. But no, the upgrade of the linebacking room is huge. Nakobe Dean's big thing though has been health. So as long as he's out there and he's healthy, he's going to be a difference maker. And that's the one thing about this team, and especially with looking at Max, like he hasn't had difference makers on the defense with him. It's been Max and them. Right. And so now all of a sudden you look and you see, okay, you got Max, you got Nakobe Dean, you got Quay Walker, and now you got some guys that you feel pretty good about. They went out and drafted. Oh, they brought in Kwity Paye as well. And then you go out and draft some new dudes in the secondary, and they're guys that have ball hawking in their skills, in their skill set, like they did that in college. So now it's like, okay, wait, hold on. It's not just the Max Crosby show. Now there's some other guys that can contribute. Now the biggest thing for them is just coming together, figuring out this new defense led by Rob Leonard. And once they do that, then you can see something. But that's the growing pain right now. They've got to figure out this new scheme and what he wants them to do and where all these parts fit and learn communication, because it's all, like I said, it's all a bunch of new guys now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was like, man, dude, this is messed up. They're getting rid of oh boy, and trading him away to the Ravens right now, Max Crosby, and they're getting all this defensive help. And the dude's never had defensive help. I was like, this would just be like a perfect fit. Everything that they got, and having Max would just be amazing. Like, I could only imagine, like last year, my takes were that I was off a year. I believe I think the Raiders are going to be a lot better, obviously, this year than they were last year. I can only imagine, but I thought they would have been where they are now back then.
Yeah, you know what I mean? No, I'm with you. And I mean, Pete Carroll, he's a guy that I thought was going to really be able to help this team because he's been there, done that. But he went in with one agenda and the GM had another agenda, and just these guys were never on the same page. And so you're never going to have success if they're not on the same page, and they just weren't. So, now you can see that everyone is all aligned with each other. They're all speaking the same language. They're all going in the right direction, all in the same direction, most importantly. And they all have the same common goal. So it should be a lot better this year than what we've seen last year.
No, yes, I totally agree. What out of what are three major things that you want to see improve for the Las Vegas Raiders this season?
I mean, obviously the win total is, you definitely want to see that improve. I mean, when you win 3 games, you got the number 1 overall pick, man, that stinks. I'll tell you, it's not a lot of fun talking about a team that loses that much, right? So, but I just want to see the culture shift. I want to see a team that's competing. I want to see a team that I believe is getting better, a team that I know is not going to be an easy out. The other teams get right game. They've been that so many times. Oh, you're on a losing streak. Don't worry, go play the Raiders. You'll get right back in the win column. It's just they don't want to be that. I want to see the defense look better than what it has. I want to see them start to come together. Obviously, the offense as well. Clint Kubiak, that's his bread and butter, is the offensive side of things. So, at some point they're going to pass the sticks on to Fernando Mendoza. He's the future quarterback. So, start to see him get acclimated and come together. But yeah, I mean, just really, honestly, there's no area of the team that can't improve from what we've seen the last few years. So it's not really 1, 2, or 3 things that I want to see. It's the overall product has to be better.
Right. No, that's understandable. I mean, dude, me being a Chiefs fan, I was struggling with it. The exact same thing. I was in pretty much the same boat. I mean, shoot, we were looking at probably a lot better matchups. I mean, in the early 2000s and whatnot with the Chiefs and Raiders. But I mean, the Chiefs were abysmal for a few years. I mean, shoot, probably 10 years.
Right.
It was tough to watch. Like when we drafted Patrick Mahomes, my parents gave me a jersey, and I was like, keep it in, I'll keep it in the closet. I don't know if I'm gonna put it on because we've never drafted like this. We never.
Right.
I'm not expecting anything, and then I seen the Broncos game. I was like, yeah, no, give me that. That's that dude.
Right.
I had to see it. You know what I mean? Right. So with Fernando Mendoza, do you think that he even gets if there's even any expectation of him even starting this year? Do you think even no matter what it is, if Kirk Cousins kind of just fails or just can't get it going and keep it going, do you think they keep Mendoza on the sideline, or do you think that they're finally like, hey man, week 13, let's go, let's put him in there?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, he's definitely – I don't see any scenario where he doesn't play at all this year. I just don't think that that's possible. But with that being said, if Cousins comes out and he looks good, then, just keep playing him while he looks good. If the Raiders all of a sudden hit a losing streak and they need a little boost, they need some energy, they need some excitement, or they look up and say, hey, you know what, this season's not going the way that we thought it was going to go, let's see what the rookie has. I mean, there's so many different scenarios. If Kirk Cousins looks like a shell of himself, if he comes out and all of a sudden he looks – like the first year when he was with the Falcons, then all of a sudden you think, well, maybe you got to put Mendoza in sooner rather than later. So there's a lot of different scenarios. I do believe he'll play this year. I just don't know when. I said at first that I thought, okay, maybe the natural transition is the bye week, but the bye week's not till week 13. That's really difficult to keep the number 1 overall pick on the sideline that long. So, maybe they'll wait a month. Maybe they'll wait 3 weeks. Hell, maybe he'll win it out of training camp. I don't think he will, but you just never know. And Clint Kubiak's not just saying who the quarterback is. He hasn't announced the starting quarterback yet, just to keep that competition alive. And they've got one more preseason game, and then, training camp's going to get wrapped up, and then there'll be an announcement. But I firmly believe it'll be Kirk Cousins. But Fernando Mendoza is not too far behind him, that's for sure.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm really excited to see him. I think Kirk will be there for a little bit. I mean, I liked what I seen, from him.
Yeah,
I really wasn't too impressed at first with Mendoza. You know what I mean? I mean, I know, like I said, it's preseason. I'm not buying too much into it. A lot of people buy a little bit or buy a little too much into stuff that they see during camp and stuff. But no, man, how do you since Tom Brady's impact, or Tom Brady's joining the ownership, how do you think with personnel and the team, has he dramatically affected the atmosphere there, man?
I mean, he's a winner, right? I mean, so he brings credibility to the organization, right? And guys, I mean, he makes everyone around him better. When he was in Tampa Bay, they said the guy in the lunchroom, the guy, the janitor, everyone, they're just better when they're around this dude because he's just a winner and he expects the greatness out of you. So it's one of those situations where you don't want to let that guy down. If you're on his team, you're in the building with him, you don't want to let him down. You don't want to disappoint him. You don't want to, look inferior. So you step your game up. Well, he provides that credibility from, that standpoint. And then there's players that the Raiders might want to look at in free agency and, oh man, hey, Tom's over there. Tom's not going to let me go to a bad situation. Tom's never had a bad situation. He wins. So they don't look at the Raiders like, oh, they're just losers and just go get them for a paycheck. It's like, oh, they're heading in the right direction. Tom Brady's going to make sure they're right. Now, I give the GM a lot of credit, John Spytek. I think he's done a hell of a job, and he probably doesn't get enough credit. Most people don't even know his name, but he's done a really good job trying to put this roster together, and I think that you're going to see sooner rather than later he will be a household name because he's done, in my opinion, a really good job so far.
Yeah, no, I think I applaud Brady and what he's done there, and your guys' tandem work between him and your guys' GM, and Davis finally handing the keys over. I think that was pivotal, and
Yeah.
you guys' what success in what you guys have had success in. I think you guys possibly won, if not won free agency. You guys were amazing in free agency. I mean, the way you guys
Right.
attacked it, I think a lot more behind the scenes was thought and planned into a lot of the free agency strategic moves that you guys made. And it was very nice. Go on, Seth.
No, go, continue.
No, you go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I'm just looking forward to seeing the Raiders as a competitive piece in the AFC West again. Like, I mean, that would just make that division so much more fun.
Yeah, for sure. And the league is better. They say it all the time. League is better when the Raiders are a really good team, but it's on them. They've got to figure it out, right? I mean, I could talk about them all day. I could give the praises to the GM, Tom Brady. I can talk about all the great players, but until they all come together and they're a competitive team, it's just words right now. So it's all about action. So that's what they need to do now. They need to go put all the words together. They got to put all these players together and go win games. They got to figure out a way to literally just win, baby. What they say, like that's a slogan on a T-shirt right now. It hasn't been actually put to it hasn't been proven over a long time. So they got to figure that out.
Agree.
So now, as an analyst, and we all take wild takes and great takes, what do you think was your worst take and your best take on the Raiders?
Well, I thought they were going to win like 8 games last year. I mean, that's they only won 3.
I was
I
there
mean,
with you.
there's so many. There's you can look at draft picks and say this guy's going to be great, and then he turns out to not be anything. And you can look at some and say he's not going to be great, and he turns out to be a fantastic. I mean, it's so hard to tell. What's going to happen, what's not going to happen, who's going to be around. I thought Josh McDaniels was going to be a good coach because he was sharp offensive mind, and the Raiders were just coming off a playoff. They just gone to the playoffs in 2021. They went and traded for Devontae Adams. I thought, okay, man, he's going to get together with Carr. They're old college teammates. Like, this is going to be great. And it sucked, right? I mean, they were good. They were good the first year, but they didn't win enough games, and it just got worse and worse. Every week, it seemed like it got worse. So, it's so hard to tell, man. The NFL is a tough business, man. But the thing is if you stick around long enough, you'll be right on some. And if you stick around long enough, you'll be wrong. And so the beauty of it is I've been around long enough to do both. So I'll take it.
Yeah, that's great. What was your feeling when the Raiders had Antonio Brown? What was your outlook on him?
I knew he wasn't a guy that you really want to bank on, but how great the talent was. You know what I mean? Like, you knew how talented he was. I just didn't know. And Mike Tomlin has to get a lot of credit. He masked a lot of the issues that were going on in the locker room with AB. I knew how much John Gruden really respected Antonio Brown. He always said that there's no other wide receiver in the world that works as hard as he does outside of Jerry Rice. So when you're starting putting that guy in Jerry Rice's conversation, that's high praise. So I knew he was going to want him. They went out and got him, and I thought, okay, well, they got their number 1 wide receiver, but he just, I mean, you saw it. He just wasn't that guy. So, and look,
it's such a shame.
Yeah, but where did he have to go to have success afterwards? He had to end up in Tampa
with
Bay
Tom.
With Tom Brady, exactly. It all comes full circle. Yep.
Yeah, with Tom. And I believe even to help him through a situation, didn't he actually live with Brady for a minute?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there you go.
Yeah. So Tom's just He's a really good guy, I guess, in that aspect. So, Q, do you have anything you want to plug or anything? Or
I mean, I just, just on the daily, I'm doing a show on Raider Nation Radio 920 called Unnecessary Roughness. I do that every day, 2 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. Locked On Raiders podcast, Monday through Friday, every day. Have that knocked out. It's usually available around 12:05 a.m. Pacific time. Every night I do ESPN game night, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Pacific time. So yeah, man, I'm always busy. I'm always busy. That's a good thing.
okay,
And if you,
so JB, we should maybe set him up because I would love to hear Q and Jake speak.
yeah, that'd be good. That'd be
Yeah,
really good.
yeah. Snake Sports. He's a big Charger fan, and
Yeah.
I agree with you, all your Herbert takes. And
Yeah.
I would love
Yo,
to hear
yo,
that
yo, knock it
conversation.
off, knock it off, knock it off. Y'all ain't gonna sabotage my dude, man. You got one charger, you got one. No, no, no. You,
And
you're not
that
gonna do
guy,
that. We
and
ain't
that
gonna
guy
let
right there.
everybody gang up on us, all right? I ain't even say it's not a word, but I'm here.
And that guy right there, he's the guy who gets me taken care of with the best burger in town. So there you go. Shout out to that guy.
Thank you, Q. You know the deal, man. We
Sure.
appreciate you just coming outside and letting us, pick your brain. But like I said, I'm not letting my boys gang up on you, man. We
Oh man,
Raiders
I
till
can take
we
it all,
through.
man. I can take it all. Trust me.
I know, I know, I
No,
know.
no. I just want to have. I actually, I actually want to hear Q actually tell him about Herbert because he glazes Herbert to no end.
They all do. They all
It's
Yeah.
do.
sick, man. It is absolutely sick, man. And it's
Yeah.
like, bro, like you said, you point out everything that you said. No playoff wins. You got him in the 6 to 10 range, but for what reason?
Right.
You can't. Like we were given like a prediction earlier of like our predictions of our first team all pros, second team all pros, right? And like somebody had jumped the line and was like, hey, look, I'm getting ready to leave, but I say automatically Creed Humphrey is the center. I gotta go. See you later. And Jake, the man that Southgate speaking of, was like, no. I said, bro, don't you even think about naming a Charger, bro? Don't you even think about naming a Charger offensive lineman, man? And I'm not kidding you, Q. 30 minutes later, it came across that their offense, their center got carted off the field,
Yeah.
and he wants to go.
That stinks. That stinks.
It
Yeah, to be
does. It
honest.
does.
Yeah.
It
So
does.
Wait,
It's
I,
horrible.
and last year they lost Slater, they lost Alt. I mean,
Oh
but
yeah,
injuries
man.
happen. Every team deals with it. Every team deals with it. So you got to figure it out. And if you're really him, if you're really that guy, then
Right.
figure it out. Be that guy. Figure it out. You got the head coach that you wanted in Jim Harbaugh. You did everything you could. You moved the heaven and earth to get him. So okay, figure it out. And they did. They went to the playoffs, but they just didn't win. So that's all. Just keep it a buck. If you're going to criticize other quarterbacks around the league, criticize the other quarterback who hasn't had
Right.
any success in the playoffs. That's all I'm asking.
actually, Q, I got a football question for you,
Okay.
and it's something that I've probably screamed about 3 times a week. And working for ESPN, maybe you know some of the voters or you don't. I don't know. But why isn't Torrey Holt in the Hall of Fame?
Man, that's the Hall of Fame question, and why isn't an insert whatever name is always
Yeah.
the toughest one. And I mean, I'm really good friends with John McClain. I'm really good friends with Shereen Williams. They're Hall of Fame voters. It's just a logjam, right? That the class is so minimal, and then a lot of times it feels like the goalposts keep moving, and it's a shame. We were just in the barbershop having some Hall of Fame conversations. It's just there's so many worthy guys that I look at that I feel like you could be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame that aren't. It's tough. Torrey Holt was one of the best to do it, right? And so it's like, all right, so it took forever to get Tim Brown in. It took forever to get T.O. in. I mean, it's just
Roger Craig just
Roger,
got in.
yeah. Like, why is
Yeah.
Roger Craig just now getting in?
Yeah,
Roger Craig was Christian McCaffrey before Christian McCaffrey.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just it's a shame, man. But that's what it is. It's just really difficult to get all these different guys in. Like the fact that Lester Hayes is not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Like, Tim Plunkett's not in the Hall of Fame. It's like, what are we doing?
There was actually even a couple guys off that Steel Curtain defense that still aren't in from the 70s. I couldn't believe the names that my friend was telling me.
Yeah.
Now,
there's a lot of Steelers in the Hall of Fame, though. I'll say that.
yeah,
There's a lot
no,
of
yeah,
Steelers.
they have enough.
Yeah, they got plenty.
One other question, it's actually a Bronco question, has to do with the Hall of Fame. Because I seen this post the other day on TikTok, and I never really thought about it because I never really thought of him as a Hall of Famer, but I want your opinion because it's fresh in my mind. Do you think Rod Smith is a Hall of Famer?
I think he's on the fringe.
Yeah,
And
me
so
too.
when you're on the fringe, you're not really a Hall of Famer. You know,
Yeah.
when you have to sit there and say, well, maybe, then he's probably not. You know what I mean? Like it's just because the Pro Football Hall of Fame is not the Naismith Hall of Fame. Like basketball, everyone gets in. It just seems like basketball, you're in the Hall
Baseball,
of Fame.
everybody gets into baseball.
Yeah, but baseball, the writers that put people in, they're real funny style. I mean, there's times that they've had no class. You know what I mean? Like there's been nobody that they elected. So they're funny style as well. But yeah, it's tough in the NFL, man. You know, you can see guys and you're like, oh, he was a really good player, but it's not the Hall of really good, right? It's the Hall of Fame. So you have to be like excellent. So it's some of these guys that are on the kind of on the fringe they're guys that'll be maybe in the Ring of Honor, but they just won't be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. What's you know, I don't know if you've been aware that you've seen that viral clip, you know, go back a little bit, but you know, that viral clip that just went on with the fantasy draft and Genty was drafted #1 overall.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, man. What's your thoughts on that? You think he's actually gonna, you know? I mean, I know you expecting a lot more out of him this year. I am too. I think, you know, you get a better blocking scheme than what Chip Kelly had out there, you know, and everything like that. I think, you know, what's your hot take on him, like in the fantasy world? You know.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think he's gonna be a really good player. I think he's gonna pick up a lot of yards and score a lot of touchdowns. And you know, in the fantasy world, that's what you want. I'm not a fantasy guy. I don't do fantasy football. I don't do any of that. I don't have time for it. But it is what it is. I think he's going to be really good. Now, is he going to be better than Christian McCaffrey? Is he going to be better than Saquon Barkley? Is he going to be better than insert, you know, who you want to insert there? Like I think he could easily be a top 10 running back this year, right? And he's going to catch some balls out of the backfield as well. He scored 10 touchdowns last year, so I know that that's something. So I think he'll be really good. And, you know, would I have drafted him #1? Probably not. But, you know, whatever that dude was trying to do, put his team together, I guess that's what he's going for.
Yeah, I see that. I just thought that was a little funny. Somebody brought that up to me. I was like, oh my god. Yeah, man. I don't know. Southgate, you got anything else?
No, I'm good. I mean, Q's a busy man. We've had him for a while. I'll give him his space. It's Saturday. Let the man enjoy himself.
Facts. I do want to know though. I know we were talking a little bit off, you know, right before you go, but you know, fantasydailies.com, you know what I mean? They you know, they've really helped us out with a lot of things in the partnership and, you know, hooking us up with you. I know, like, you kind of checked out the site a little bit. You said, I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's good. I think it's, you know, it's coming together, right? And like I said at the beginning, whatever you put out there, just put everything into it. You put everything into it, it's gonna. I mean, as long as you care and you put effort into it, it's gonna be good. I think it's really good. I think there's you know, a good avenue for it. You know, and so it just got to keep putting the work together and putting it out there, and somebody's gonna check it out, right? People are always gonna check it out. You know, never be afraid to advertise it, never be afraid to speak on it, and tell someone, hey, check it out, check it out. The worst they could tell you is no. So
like I did to you though, Q, and look, you here right now, man. You here right now.
Exactly.
So we appreciate it, and like you said, you know, we just putting forward Fantasy Dailies, putting forward our best foot, you know, me and my partner. And we really appreciate you taking the time because, you know, you went and did it for a lot of people, but you did it for me. And I really appreciate that, Q.
No doubt. You know, I got you always.
Yeah, Q. I mean, it was great talking to you today. Hope we could talk in the future. And I wish the Raiders a healthy and good season. And hope you have nothing but
healthy, but they don't want to see us win 3 games.
It's all good. It's all good.
Listen, if you're not
practice tomorrow.
Listen, I'm the first one to say if you're not going to make the playoffs, win 2 games and get a top 5 pick.
Yeah, well, you got to do something with those picks eventually.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's what we're doing. Stay blessed to everyone. Thank you so much, Q.
Thank you, Q. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
it's a pleasure to speak with you.
All right.
Thank
y'all
you so
be good.
much. You too. Thank you so much, brother.
All right. Later.
All right, y'all. I appreciate it, man. I really do. This has been a pleasure. It's been an honor.
There's more to come, man. There's more to come, JB.
It was good.
We doing what
thank
we do.
You, brother.
Nah, I'm out here in Vegas. I know a lot of different people.
Still there? I don't know. What? Thank you. JB, Yeah, it was
That's
good.
what we
So
gonna
I
do.
guess you'll edit everything later and put it out.
All right, South.
All right.
Y'all stay blessed, man.
All right, I appreciate you, Quan.
I got you, JB. I'll talk to
All
you
right,
soon.
buddy. Yes, sir.
Peace.
Not Move Podcast presents Ringside Rewind every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Brought to you by FantasyDailies.com. Have the competition on the edge. Not Move Podcast presents The Scrap Sheet every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Brought to you by FantasyDailies.com, where you can get the edge on the competition. The Not Move Podcast presents The Dribble every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Brought to you by FantasyDailies.com. Get the edge on your lineup.
The Not Move podcast is fueled by Dubby Energy. Smooth, jitter-free focus, and flavors that slap. Mango, berry, watermelon. Whatever gets you locked in, they've got it. Hit up Dubby.gg, use promo code NOTMOVED, and snag 10% off your order. Stay not moved, stay energized.
Known but Friday nights, 9 Eastern, it's the Dribble NBA edition on the Not Move podcast. We break down the week, the trades, the highlights, everything around the league. Tap in, chop it up with us, and get the takes that move the game forward. Stay not moved.
The Not Moved podcast drop is here. Snapbacks, hoodies, mugs, stickers, totes, everything you need to rep the convo everywhere you go. Limited run, unlimited style. Tap the link, fill the cart, and
tap into the Not Move podcast every Friday night at 8 Eastern.
We're bringing the Scrap Sheet, UFC edition.
Every jab, every takedown, every headline.
All the fights, all the drama, all the picks, right here.
Watch live on YouTube or listen anywhere you get your podcast. Hit follow, hit subscribe.
And stay not moved.
Need some new Not Move drip? The In the Wickets hoodie just dropped. Super soft fleece, heavyweight feel, and the official NMP patch on the sleeve. Tap add to cart, check out, and let us handle the rest. In a couple days, it shows up at your door, ready to rock. Rep the podcast from the couch to the tip.
Every Thursday night, the Not Move podcast drops a new episode of
In the Wickets,
our deep dive on everything around the NHL.
We break down the plays, the trades, the stats, and the stories that matter.
Plus a few hot takes along the way.
Join us live at 8 p.m. Eastern or catch it on your favorite podcast app right after.
Same energy, same on.
Tuesday nights just got louder. Ringside Rewind is live every week, 9 Eastern.
We're breaking down Raw, SmackDown, and everything leading into the weekend. If it happens between the ropes, we're talking about it.
Deep dives, hot takes, and a few surprise
and
replays.
A whole lot of arguing.
Yeah, but the good kind.
Ringside
the Orphan Elimination Chamber tee just dropped. Fresh out the box. Look at this.
That print is nasty. Chain link O, silver hit. It's tough.
It's soft too, y'all. Fits right. Little drip for the Elimination Chamber weekend.
We rocking these all season.
If you're part of the Not Move fam, you already know.
Jump on it before it's
gone. Grab yours now at Not Move Shop.
Episode of the Not Move podcast is brought to you by the MLB Shop. They have every team's gear, from classic caps to World Baseball Classic hoodies, all official and all ready for game day. Tap the link in our bio to head straight to the shop and snag your favorite merch.
The drop is here. NMP gear built for every day and game day. Hoodies, mugs, and the Coach Common jersey in bold gold. Rep the movement. Feel the energy. Shop new arrivals.
If you're craving baseball talk that doesn't flinch, tap in with us Monday nights at 8 Eastern.
It's the Rusty Mitt MLB edition of the Not Move podcast. Breakdowns, debates, all the swings and misses without the fake fluff.
Join us live or catch the replay wherever you get your pods. Rusty Mitt, not moved. Stay not moved.
Attention Not Move Nation. Our first ever jersey has landed. The NMP by JB Sport Talk collab brings premium mesh, bold gold accents, and that undeniable game day energy. Plus, hoodie drop.
Today's episode of Not Moved is brought to you by Open Goal, the world's #1 backyard goal. If you love soccer but hate chasing balls into the neighbor's yard, this thing is a game changer. Its rebound net sends missed shots right back to you, and the side nets keep your landscaping and your windows safe. It's perfect for kids, for training, or just having fun.
Today's episode of the Not Move podcast is brought to you by Walmart.com. With our storefront in the Walmart app, you can get everything you need. Pick up or have it delivered.
We ordered dinner while recording and it showed up before we wrapped.
Better Good sweet corn and burrata ravioli.
Nuri protein drinks, even St. Patrick's Day treats.
Walmart.com.
Not Move fam. Southgate edition just landed and it's fire. Check the tee, watch out for the skis and the wickets. Hockey stick, cricket wickets, all vibes. We got hoodies, mugs, caps, beanies, whatever you need. Cop yours before they...
At the Not Move podcast, just drop the gear.
Heavyweight hoodies, premium cotton, street ready.
Caps, mugs, and more. Every detail on point.
Whether you're hooping, tailgating, or just repping the pod, NMP fits the culture.
Limited drops. When they're gone, they're gone.
Cop yours today at notmoveshop.fourthwall.com.
This non-casual podcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without the authorized written consent of the Not Move Podcast Network. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.